Now, the Bank of Ghana has once again cautioned the public to desist from transacting business with gold buying firm Menzgold, insisting the company is not licensed to take deposits. Now, the Bank of Ghana issued a statement earlier today that was published in the newspapers, and I'm going to be bringing that statement to you. Essentially, the Bank of Ghana is indicating that it will not be held liable should people or to the members of the public who deposit those funds with them lose their deposits. So the statement reads as follows. The Bank of Ghana wishes to notify the general public that in spite of several cautions for Menzgold Ghana, a company limited, to desist from the solicitation, receipt of money and the payment of dividends, the company persists in its deposit taking, and it goes on to indicate that it will not be held liable. It says that people who transact business with the company do so at their own risk, and that the Bank of Ghana would not be held liable in the event of any loss of investments or deposits. Now, this has elicited some reaction from the management of Menzgold, and they say that they have cited with deep indignation a notice from the Bank of Ghana issued to the general public on August 6, 2018. It says, Menzgold Ghana would like to assure our customers that we are a law-abiding organization working within the remits of our license. We hereby state emphatically that we do not accept deposits from customers or carry on a deposit-taking business in Ghana. And it goes on to say it's the Act 930 and says that they are not governed by the Act. It says it therefore cannot be said that we are in breach of that Act. I have been joined by phone now, on the line now, by George Quay, who's the Communications Director of Menzgold. Now, Mr. Quay, thank you for making time to speak with us. Now, before we actually get into it, and before this statement came from Menzgold, the CEO of Menzgold actually took to social media and said, essentially called the bluff of the Bank of Ghana, indicating that what the Bank of Ghana just did, or the statement they put out, is essentially a joke. Is that really the communication that Menzgold wants to put out to the Bank of Ghana?
Thank you very much, Israel. Good evening to you and to your listeners. The communication that Menzgold wanted to put out is exactly what was put out in the press statement, and that is exactly what the company would like to say.
But we have cited that statement from your CEO, and it sounded quite like he wanted to take on the Bank of Ghana, essentially calling the bluff of the Bank of Ghana. I would want to think that in an instance like that, Menzgold would want to dialogue with the Bank of Ghana rather than take on this confrontational stance.
Menzgold has been dialoguing with the Bank of Ghana for a very long time. We've had a number of engagements, and I believe going forward we will have another one to cross this bridge.
All right. One of the main problems the Bank of Ghana has with you is the fact that people are bringing their deposits to you. Can you explain to us this business model of Menzgold?
Your premise or your statement is wrong. People do not bring their deposits to us.
Well, I am not saying that. It's contained in the statement of the Bank of Ghana.
Okay. The Bank of Ghana knows very well that people do not bring deposits to us, because in earlier engagements, we've made that explicit to them, and it's been verified, and they know that people do not bring deposits.
So why would they put that in the statement?
They would be the best people to speak to that. Perhaps there's some new kind of have chanced upon that is not been made known to us just yet, but we do not do that. We do not take deposits. We only trade in gold. Israel, that's what we do. We trade in gold. You cannot carry money, any amount whatsoever on earth, and bring it to Menzgold and anybody would accept it. No.
All right,
the only
George.
thing that we trade in is gold.
George, just hold on for me a bit. I just want to read the statement, the post that was put out by your CEO, Nana Apia Mensah, who says, today's joke, Bank of Ghana. So now you do propaganda. I beg, Pa, tell Ghanaians exactly what happened with the 5 or so collapsed banks you duly licensed and supervised for years. Please don't attempt to use dear Menzgold to cover up. I beg, make we think. And before you react to that, I actually have with me Dr. Richmond Etuahene, who is a banking consultant. And I'd like to bring him into this conversation so that we can get some clarity. Now, thank you very much, Dr. Etuahene. What we know right now is that the Bank of Ghana has issues with Menzgold and the way it's going about its business. But Menzgold is also indicating that what it does has nothing to do with the Bank of Ghana, and the Bank of Ghana cannot seek to regulate its activities. The company says they deal in gold, but some way, somehow, the Bank of Ghana is not convinced about it, and it thinks that people are sending their deposits there. Is there anything that bars this company from doing what they are doing, or how should Bank of Ghana or the regulators handle the case of Menzgold?
Thank you very much, Israel. Bank of Ghana is the regulator of the banks and the other deposit-taking institutions. So for any other reason, if they suspect that somebody is doing something contrary to what they do, they send warnings and tell us, those of us who have money, not to go there. The reason why they are taking much interest in it, we have had a similar thing in this country. We have the Pirams and the R5 in the 90s. You remember, people lost their money, and people were complaining that what did Bank of Ghana do? And I believe Bank of Ghana is taking all these actions and notices and putting here and there so that people do not go and place deposit there. But the question that I also want to ask, who is regulating Menzgold?
Well, the company says that they're regulated by the Minerals Commission. George Quay is still on the line. George Quay, Dr. Etuahene wants to know who's regulating your activities.
Yes, we are operating under the remit of the Minerals Commission.
All right. And what does the license or the remits given to you by the Minerals Commission allow you to do?
It allows us to do exactly what we are doing, to trade and gold, buy, sell, gold.
So you buy and sell gold to the general public?
Yes, and we trade in gold, in summary.
All right. Now, what we know happens is that there's a company that's affiliated to yours, Brew Marketing, where people go and buy slips, or they pay monies there and take slips and bring to you at Menzgold. Is that accurate?
Brew Marketing sells gold.
They sell gold?
Menzgold does not take cash from people. So when you have your money and you want to buy your gold, you go to Brew Marketing and buy your gold. Once you have your gold, there are two decisions you can make. You can either take your gold home and go and trade it with another gold trader. I'm sure there are a number of them around. Or you can bring it to Menzgold, trade in a gold bulls market. It is a product that we have called the gold bulls market. Now, on that gold bulls market, that is where we trade your gold internationally with a global partner. You understand?
All right.
And whatever extra value that gold gives, that's what we split.
All right.
That's how we sell the gold.
We're aware, or it's out there in the public domain, that you actually offer in the region of 8% per month guaranteed interest return. Is that accurate?
Oh, there are, depending on it varies. It varies. It varies.
It varies from what's the minimum you're offering?
About 7%.
From 7%.
Yeah.
A minimum of 7%.
Yes, I think the lease is the minimum is about 7%.
A month.
Israel, if we spoke off air and we put proper numbers to it, you'd realize that in the gold trading world, it is nothing outrageous.
All right. Dr. Etuahene, so you just heard the communications director of Menzgold. He indicates that, yes, they offer returns of about 7% when they trade in your gold.
I think Israel, the best way for any other jurisdiction, there should be undercover, right? And if they do surveillance undercover, they'll possibly realize what you're saying. Because I have heard it. Seriously, I have advised people. I've heard what you're saying, and I have advised people that once it's not regulated by the Bank of Ghana, they should be extra caution in putting there. Somebody called me and asked me. I know about the story, but the way it's going around, people talking about it, and especially when I heard the bluff you called, I mean, we should give a due respect to the regulator, Central Bank. And when I heard the words that was used, I think he needs to apologize because it's casting a slur on the whole Bank of Ghana, which represents the financial sector and the banking sector in this country. And I don't think the words used are appropriate, and it doesn't give Bank of Ghana the needed support. If banks have collapsed, are we the only country that has lost collapse? I mean, we saw in global 2007, 2009. It happened in States. It happened in UK. Can you go and tell the Federal Reserve that the Federal Reserve calling a bluff? You possibly wouldn't have your answer. It doesn't matter whether you do it, whether you're gold or you're. We can go back to the PMC and tell them that, look, somebody is calling a bluff. Because, you see, we should respect the institutions created for the country. And let me tell them, they should respect. They should respect and give due recognition to the Bank of Ghana.
Doctor,
and people should not call it a bluff.
Yeah. Dr. Suahene, there are those who also say that if the Bank of Ghana really has something to do, it should act rather than putting out notices, and that probably the Bank of Ghana indeed has no remit to regulate whatever they're doing.
Before Bank of Ghana will do what they are doing, before they will do what they are doing now, sending notices, I'm sure they have even done undercover job. So they are speaking from an empirical point of evidence point of view that people should be cautious. People should be very circumspect when they're dealing with them. It's a warning. They're just warning the clients and the customers.
Dr. Suahene, they have been
out of order.
Dr. Suahene, they have been.
I don't think we should put information on your website that you're calling them a bluff. No. Even if there is something you don't understand, as you said earlier, there is room for dialogue. There is room for them to talk. Rather than going on the air and saying that if you could have done it, what are you doing with the 7 banks? It's an uncalled for statement. It is very uncalled for. We shouldn't tolerate those things in this country. Nobody is above the banking system in Ghana. So if Bank of Ghana has said something and you disagree, at least the words chosen was not appropriate. And cannot be appropriate and will not be acceptable to in any other jurisdiction. So I think that they must go back, possibly apologize, and then begin to sit down and talk and let them understand your model. And the Bank of Ghana too would have to find out from PMMC so that with these issues going on. I've heard it last year. November, Bank of Ghana put notice, November last year. And people called me and asked me. I said, look, as far as I know, if you're taking deposit, you'll be regulated by Bank of Ghana. But if you're saying you're trading in deposit, you're regulated by PMMC. And that should not create some sort of animosity and then something like casting slur on the institution. Bank of Ghana is like any other institution, judiciary, anywhere. They are part of it.
All right.
So I'm very sad that it has generated into such.
Thank you very much.
Point.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richmond.
Thank you, my brother.
Banking consultant. And I still have George Quay on the line with me. Now, George, you've heard what Dr. Suahene has had to say. Are you contemplating having the CEO retract this tweet he put out on statement he put out on social media?
Israel, as I did mention earlier, the position of the organization is what was put out in the press statement.
But we can't ignore the tweet.
Earlier, the doctor was very right when he said that we could judge, which is exactly what we've been doing with the Bank of Ghana for a while now. And we would have hoped that if there's any other thing that they've found or any other thing has been brought to their notice at all, would take the same channel. Because what the Bank of Ghana did today puts us in a very bad light as far as our customers are concerned.
All right.
It even has the potential of turning customers away. It has the potential of causing people coming to say, give me my gold, and they are all shutting down. And then would get into the situation where some organizations probably find themselves today. So we thought it was a bit unfortunate. For an
Do you
organization
intend to
that
do anything about it?
up
Probably sue the Bank of Ghana?
Oh, like Doc said, there is no need going to war. We can always find a better way to resolve it. And we would have hoped that just as we've shown good faith all this while, the Bank of Ghana would have approached us and said, even issue us a letter, let a lawyer, let the Attorney General, somebody write to us, we found out this, that, and that. So we are asking you to do that, and that. But to put us that light, this is an organization that is trying to fly high the flag of Ghana. We've opened in Spain. We've opened in London. We are opening in Nigeria by the end of the month. If we are being painted this way in our own home, what is the rest of the world going to think of us? What is the rest of the world going to say about us? Probably it is some of these emotions that led our CEO to put out that statement, out of the pain, out of the hurt, out of the probably thought betrayed that, but we've opened up to these people. Why this now? If there's anything, why not speak to us? So yes, it is unfortunate, but the position of the company, I would say again, is exactly what was captured in our press statement released earlier today.
All right.
And we're looking forward to that sit down. And like Doc said, we believe that we can find an amicable solution to all of this. Menzgold is here for Ghana. We're here for our customers.
Thank you very much, George Quay. George Quay is Communications Director for gold buying firm Menzgold.